I want to know more about your journey, about your story. So let's start with, I want to get a brief sense of your background and how did you arrive till the point of starting up Dr. Vaidya in 2016, right?
Yeah, so look, Nivedan, I'm Bombay born and raised. Vaidya, my last name means Ayurvedic doctor. I come from a legacy of 150 years of Ayurveda in my family. So my grandfather, great-grandfather and generations before, all Ayurvedic doctors.
Wow.
The legacy of our business was not a business actually. My great-grandfather moved from Gujarat to Bombay, set up an Ayurvedic clinic here. My grandfather, as was customary at the time, graduated from college, went to medical school, graduated from medical school, and then eventually joined his father, took on his father's practice. By the 80s and 90s, my dada became one of India's most successful Ayurvedic doctors. He used to see 300 to 350 patients a day in his clinic. He had 12,000 patients on a monthly basis, writing them via post. Post, as you can imagine, was the e-commerce of that time. And he was a man who didn't care for sales, distribution, marketing or strategy. He was a man of service. He was a doctor, right? So consultation at my dada's clinic was always free. You came, saw my grandfather for free, and if you bought medicine, you paid for the medicine. Right? That was the way it was. My dad graduated from college in the late 80s, and he wanted to. At late 80s, you'll for all of you who saw those times, I didn't, but that was when FMCG was being built in India. Right? The first brands were coming up. TV advertising had just started. And so my dad said, look, there's a huge opportunity to take these proprietary formulations that we have, that's going to thousands of people in the clinic, to millions of people across the country through FMCG. So we tried to work together for a year. My dad did a TV ad for our product, HerboFit. And my dada lost money for the first time in his life. And that was it. Then my dada said, this is not for me. If you want to work with me, work in the clinic or forget about it. And so my dad went his own way and started a luxury jewelry and watch business 35 years ago called the Rose Group and does exceptionally well. So that's my family business. But look, Nivedan, for me, I grew up with asthma. I grew up with juvenile bronchitis. I grew up with pumps, nebulizers, inhalers, steroids. I went to the cricket field at age 5 and like most kids. And by age 7, my grandfather moved me off the cricket field. Because for all of you who've come to Bombay, we don't have much grass on our cricket fields. It's only mud and dust. And dust wasn't good for an asthmatic kid. So I was playing golf and squash at age 7. And you can imagine a 7-year-old kid trying to hit a golf ball. 95% of the shots didn't even go, right? So it sucked for me that like all my friends were playing cricket and football and I was playing golf and squash, individual sports alone, like painful, right? And so 14 years of Ayurvedic treatment later, I was cured of asthma. I started playing cricket again and I became captain of my school cricket team. And it wasn't a good cricket team. Our coach was a history teacher in the school. Not so many people were interested to play in that team. We played a sum total of 5 matches. And I was not the captain because I was the best player on the team. I was the captain because I showed up to every practice. And that's sort of a big philosophy of mine. I'm not a smart worker because I'm not smart enough, but I'm the hardest worker you'll find. I'll put in more hours than everyone else. And so I eventually became the captain of my school team. And that was a big moment in my life. While it was not a big cricket team or a big thing for most people, for me it was a huge thing, right? I love cricket. If you ever follow my content on LinkedIn, you'll see me write about cricket a lot as well. So then I said, like, asthma cured with Ayurveda. This thing, Ayurveda is my family legacy, but it's also a deep impact in my life. So I spent a lot of time with my grandfather. 2009, I went to college in the US and I went to study biotechnology to repackage what my grandfather had with Ayurveda. I ended up studying economics.
So you kind of had some sort of a vision already that I want to do biomedical.
So my college admissions essay for the US was about my family legacy of Ayurveda. So I had it at the back of my mind. I didn't study biotechnology, by the way. I studied economics and politics. My grandfather promised he'll pay for my education if I study biotechnology. So he paid for 1 year, then he stopped paying because he said, you're not studying biotechnology, so let your dad pay. I'm not paying for this. So when I was in the US, actually, I saw the yoga revolution live, right? Yoga mats, yoga gyms, yoga apparel, Lululemon, multi-billion-dollar industry in the US. And I started thinking to myself, look, it's amazing that it's so big, but it sucks that India has not taken it to the world, right? Like, we should have been the people taking Ayurveda, yoga to the world. So I called my dada from campus, I remember, and said, I will take Ayurveda to the world, right? That we can't let Indian Indian things like Ayurveda and yoga be taken by foreigners to the world. It's great that yoga is big, but we should be a part of that journey. And look, I'm super patriotic. I wear this band with the Indian flag on my hand. I've been wearing it for the last 15 years. And if you ever buy Dr. Vaidya's products, you'll see proudly Indian written on the front and center of the packaging.
Of course, I remember.
So I think came back to India 2013, worked in private equity for 3 years in a consumer sector focused fund called L Capital, now called L Carrington. And I saw some big changes happen in India, Nivedan. I saw Indians move towards Indian brands instead of buying imported products. I saw Ayurveda come to the fore after 2014, government change, Ministry of Ayush was created, and customers like you became excited about Ayurveda. And I saw e-commerce was here to stay. Like I in 2014, was the youngest member of my team. They said, work on this thing called e-commerce, see if it becomes something in India, right? And so in 2014, I got to spend time with Myntra, Jabong, Pepperfry, Vame, Bluestone, and as an sort of prospective investor, while we didn't make any of those investments, I said, this is not a fad.
Wait, you missed the opportunity to invest in people like them, Myntra and all?
Yeah, we missed that.
And you were there.
I was there. But look, I think eventually, while we missed that opportunity to invest, I think what we did see was, what I did see had a deep impact in my life. I saw, look, this e-commerce thing, it's not just a fad, right? Like at that time, think about today, it's like part of our life.
It's not obvious,
2013, 14, Amazon just coming to India, right? That's the time that I'm talking about. So really got to see that firsthand. And then eventually my grandfather passed. I made him a promise at some point I'll do something with legacy. I quit my job and I took on this legacy and built Dr. Vaidya's, and I guess the rest is history, right?